Okay.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Boiler Express podcast. We are almost getting consistent again. We missed last week, but we're back on the train this week, and hopefully from now on we'll be back on it. But you've got 3 of the fifths of the Boiler Express podcast with you tonight. You got myself, Frank, and Chris as well. And yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about football. I think we might talk a little bit about basketball and just some stuff going on with that. But how are you guys doing?
Doing great, man. Having a blast. But we're 10 days out from the first game.
Oh, I'm so scared.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, not this Saturday, the following Saturday.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Which is insane because I felt like this summer has just been crazy, like dragged on.
So there's something about football that has been like I've been thinking about the last couple of days, and I've kind of come to a conclusion here. So you guys let me know if you feel this way. So like, I'm not gonna lie, like with the media stuff and just like what Purdue football's just been posting online, I'm pretty bored with it. Now that doesn't mean that it's bad or that the team's not going to be good or won't be exciting to watch, but like I just remember I was like, man, I remember when, and obviously, it didn't go well, but I remember when Walters was at the helm, I felt like there was always something going on there. The football team was posting this out or the other. Like I was hyped for football every year that when he was here. But like, I just feel like there's just not a whole lot going on with Purdue football right now, like on the socials, and maybe that's good. Maybe they're going to be really quiet and boring, and then the on-field product's going to be great. But I don't know. I'm kind of bored leading up to next Saturday. A little bit.
Well, if the trade-off is hype and talk and, hyping the fans up like Walters did, we saw the product on the field. But if we're going to see a flip-flop of that, I'll take it.
Yeah, that's what kind of my thought too.
Yeah. But yeah, that was one thing he was good at is he did set expectations fairly high. I mean, I think that's fair. He would talk about individual players and talk about how he expects them to have breakout years. And I remember him talking about Will Helt a lot, who, was a really good player, but he talks about Jamal Edgerrin quite a bit. But yeah, it's been quiet. You're right about that.
Yeah. Like I remember, I love, I don't even know what his name is on Twitter now. The James Knows Ball or Jay Knows Ball, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Purdue was posting a lot about like the football players getting popsicles one day. And he was like, ooh, sweet treat for their hard work. Hooray. # boiler up.
That's funny.
That's where we're at. The players getting popsicles is what we're tweeting about.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of tweets and players, there have been some clips that are circulating, we'll say, on various forms of social media of some of the players in practice, maybe not looking so great. One could argue there's no context behind what we're looking at too. Like it looks just like some warm-up drills, but some receivers are catching the ball and then kind of stepping out of bounds, and some are struggling to keep their footing. But A, did you all see those? And B, if so, how much are you reading into those?
I am not reading anything into it. Just for the simple fact that to me, like, I don't know, maybe like maybe it was the first drill of the day. Like I know when I was writing for a publication and I would go to practice, you could only record like the first like 10 minutes of practice. So where guys are still like going through like warm-ups and doing like really simple drills, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like my thing is I want to see what happens like in the 11-on-11 or 7 versus 7 or something like that. Like I'm not going to hold, like everybody's losing their dang mind about a 30-45 second clip from a training camp practice with no context. Like it's just not that big of a deal for me. Like if no, we're talking about Indy Star reporter was at practice
was,
and took a video. It was Nathan Baird. A good dude. I like Nathan a lot. I've interacted with him before. He's a decent human, super like squared away dude. He's not like a Doyle where he's like, crapping every chance he can. He's super squared away dude. I like him a lot. But it was like a 45-second clip where like there's just drop passes. It looks like guys are just getting into it, No, I thought the day that BTN was on campus looked really good, and I was super excited. But I'll shut up and let you guys talk.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's hard. Like it's hard that when a beat writer share like that, it's just interesting. I think, and I can't remember who said it. One of us said it in their group chat. Like it's interesting that is the clip that they decide to post online, like about Purdue. It's not like a really good play. It's not like a nice throw from Ryan Brown or whoever. It's this like just sequence of drop passes, which I know their job is to get people talking and to get people interested in what's going on. But I thought it was just a really interesting choice from him to like post that. And then, I mean, it garnered a lot of attention. So yeah. And I know that like, as far as I've heard I've also heard good things about the wide receivers too. Like I've heard a lot of good stuff about Michael Jackson III. I've heard a lot of good things about him. So I don't know. I mean, honestly, this is just going to be one of those things where we're not going to really know until next Saturday. But yeah, one thing that I've heard that is exciting to me is that I keep hearing about all this depth that we have in the secondary, and that has never, ever, ever in the history of ever been a thing at Purdue. So that would be really cool.
Yeah.
So if we've got some solid DBs out there, I'll take having a haphazard wide receiver room. I'll kind of switch those. I'll switch those out if we have to.
Well, and there was also the video that was sent out today. We do have someone else joining us here. A video that was published today of the same individual talking about seeing a lot of drops in practice. It seems like we're in a few years in a row now of having that issue. We had the famous Michigan State game last season, for example, where a drop basically cost us the win. And then, as great as Deion Burks was, dropping was kind of an issue for him. But is that something that you all are concerned about? I know, they said some of the wide receiver twos are looking better than the wide receiver ones in terms of actually catching the ball and being able to secure it. Yeah, what do you guys think? Is that something you're concerned about at all?
I don't know what our game plan is. Like, I'm really interested to see what Barry Odom's offense is going to look like, because from what it sounds like, it's going to be very run heavy, run first offense, and that's just not been a thing at Purdue. So I'm really interested to see what the offense is just going to look like in general. Now, if the offense was like this basketball on grass, this like we're passing the ball 9 times out of 10, if that was the case, and our receivers were like pretty meh, like that's concerning because that's a huge chunk of our offense. But if it's going to be pretty split down the middle, or we're going to be pretty run heavy, I'm more interested in like, what's our O-line look like? How does our how is the running back room doing? Versus like just needing the receivers to catch, a 5-10 yard pass here and there to keep the chains moving. So I feel like it just depends on what the offense is really going to look like.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm definitely one of those like we know we're going to run the ball a lot. Like, I think.
Do we know that though? I mean, is that?
I think
it's been hinted at, but
yeah, that's been. And like Baird said it today in his clip. Like, we know we're going to run the ball. And I agree with the concern about like you still need the pass game, otherwise they're just going to dump everybody in the box. But we're in camp, bro. Like, just like I don't know. Everybody's playing like their hair is on fire right now, and everybody just got to chill out.
I think another thing he said was that we still haven't named a starting quarterback. That's something we're kind of used to as Purdue fans. I feel like every single. I'm sorry, I'm reading Dylan's comment. Dylan is very upset that his comments are being skipped.
Well, maybe Dylan, if you were here,
Yeah, Dylan, you could just hop on in here, and say whatever you wanted. But I feel like every year under Braum, we didn't know who the quarterback was going to be until maybe week 3. But it does sound like all signs are pointing toward Ryan Brown. How do you all feel about the fact that we still haven't named a starting quarterback? Or do you like Ryan Brown? Do you think he's the guy for the job? What do you think about the quarterback situation?
I think it's fine. I mean, it's like, I think it's going to be, I like Ryan Brown. I think he's super mobile. Like last night I was talking to Nick and I told him, I said, I think we're going to have a thing where sure, Ryan Brown's going to be the starter, but we're going to have a package for Malachi just because he's so good running the ball.
Yeah, and I like it's hard to like give a full like if this team was like last year's team and there wasn't a whole roster overhaul, I think it'd be a lot easier to give opinions on starters and how I feel about the team and what this looks like and what that looks like. But like this, I really feel like this year is I feel like everything's just a crapshoot until next Saturday when we actually see what's on the field, when we see what it's going to look like, because it's just so, for me anyway, it's, and I'm not going to take the time to go watch 56 different, players' game films and see how they played at their other universities and all this other stuff. It's like, it's so hard to really put a thumb on it and say like, this is, I feel like the team is going to be like this or like that. And honestly, Ryan Brown, like, he doesn't have a huge, highlight tape. He didn't play a whole lot last year. He had a great game at Illinois last year, but it's just so hard to like definitively say like this is what it's going to look like, or that it's going to look like this or that or the other.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see what it's going to look like. I don't know at all, so I don't know. It's hard to like fully say and commit to like an opinion on it.
And I think even when we look at this time last year, we were saying, yeah, we lost Deion Burks, yeah, we lost Nick Scorton, we're bringing back Kydron Jenkins again. Like, so we had all of these other players that we
just had to bring that
familiar
up,
with.
Frank.
And what's that?
Just had to bring up losing Nick Scorton.
Sorry, yeah, I know that's still, there's still a chance though. Yeah, maybe he'll leave the NFL and come back.
Yeah,
God, I can only hope.
But there's very little. It's like, you know what, Devin Maccabee's back, and like you can feel good about that. Like CJ Madden's back. He was hurt, but looked really good in the time that he played. But there's no, outside of those two guys, like crucial pieces returning. So yeah, there's just a lot of question marks. So like I'm going to take the stance where I don't know what this team really looks like until week 3.
Yeah, that's
because
fair.
When Russ and I ran into each other at the Indiana State game last year, that was my big thing. Was I can't take anything away from what we just saw. Like, it was clear Indiana State wanted to go home. They were not interested in playing football that day. They just kept running the ball when it was like 3rd and 17, or we're just going to run the ball to run the clock. And I mean, we saw what happened to that team. So,
yeah. Side note, did you guys? I thought DJ Wingfield had like was done with playing college football. Apparently, he was like at USC trying to play again this year.
Huh.
I saw something on Twitter today that like a judge appeal for him to play again this year got denied or something like that. But I just thought about that because we were talking about football and I was thinking about the offensive line and stuff, or the line. And he was at USC, and I think he got denied eligibility this year or something. So, side note, sorry, I had a squirrel moment there, but I was just like,
no, I just Googled it. Yeah, he transferred there in January.
Yeah, I had no clue. I thought he was like done with eligibility.
Yeah, I don't fully understand college eligibility anymore.
No, I've stopped trying to figure it out, honestly.
Yeah, it's seems like more of a choice than anything else. But
well, and you know what's like, I don't know the exact number, but a lot of the guys that Coach Odom and everybody brought in this year, a lot of those guys are 5th and 6th year seniors that I'm assuming are going to be done after this year again. So I feel like Purdue's, and I know that's kind of the nature of the beast now with just the transfer portal, but I feel like Purdue's team next year is going to also look vastly different. So it's going to be interesting to see how like Coach Odom tries to build on consistency with just the landscape of college football now and just Purdue being, what it is. So
I know we don't know a ton necessarily yet about Coach Odom. He's definitely on the quieter side when we look at our past coaching regime. But so far, knowing very little about him and what he's done, how would you say he's done so far? Knowing that this can change, like you're not being held to this, by any means, but so far.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he looks and talks and sounds like if you put what a Purdue football coach looks and sounds like in a ChatGPT generator, I feel like it would spit out Coach Odom, like very hard knocks, like Chris likes to use the term lunch pail kind of coach. I feel like that's what Coach Odom and hard, smart, and tough. Like those are all things that Purdue fans and Purdue people just tend to get behind very easily. So he's really he's saying a lot of good buzzwords. And so just seeing where that goes and what that turns into is another thing. But I think he's saying a lot of the right things. And from what I've heard in interviews, seems like this team is very had a discipline overhaul kind of this year. So it sounds like he's doing the right things and taking the right steps to be the what Purdue fans want in a coach.
And that's one thing that
Greg
I noticed.
With a great comment here. Sorry, Greg just said the median age just went up. I'm assuming he means that's due to Russ joining. So that was top tier, Greg.
How much did Dylan pay you to say that, Greg?
Right? Did Dylan hack into your YouTube?
Dylan's Venmoing him behind the scenes. I did ask ChatGPT to create an image that embodies Purdue football, so we'll be sure to see what that goes while that's cooking. Anyway, Chris, you were talking. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine. No, there's definitely, I think I watched the BTN thing and there was, I can't remember who said it. I want to say it was the new offensive coordinator that said the team is hungry for discipline and organization or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that very telling in just such a few short words that it was a short sentence that said a lot.
Yeah.
Does it sound like, speaking of the way that Coach just been talking this offseason, does it give you guys maybe budget, Walmart Braum vibes? When he came in and we were talking about, the turnover and, the discipline issues and trying to keep guys in the building and, we're going to have to play, really good offense. We're going to have to score a lot of points because our defense, might not be all there yet. It just, to me, it sounds a lot like that initial transition with Braum where this could be more of a 4 or 5, 6 win team than just the 2-10 team everybody's saying it's going to be.
Russ, I've thought that, and I do agree that there's a lot more similarities between Coach Odom and Coach Braum than, Coach Walters is unlike any coach Purdue's ever had.
Braum's the older kind of journeyman coach. He's pulling in guys that he's coached with at multiple other stops. He's bringing in kind of older players. It feels a lot like that. I'm not saying we're going to go because this schedule is obviously not the schedule Braum faced year one. We've got a little bit of a tougher schedule. Big Ten's obviously a different Big Ten now, even just 8 years later. But it doesn't feel like this, 2-10 team. It feels like, because I think I heard you guys talking. I was trying to listen before I got on, but I think Frank was talking about how many times we didn't know who the quarterback was under Braum, but we had some elite quarterback production, right? Some of the times that Purdue has had most question marks and I wish say maybe question marks, but just the most unsure starter, the most unclear depth chart is when guys emerge, right? AOC was a walk-on, 8th string, right? And he came out of nowhere. So this is one of those teams that feels like if one of those quarterbacks can emerge, it's going to feel like those Braum teams where we're going to have to outscore teams 45-42 to win, but we're going to play some exciting defense that can maybe get some turnovers, hopefully doesn't give up big plays, and then have an offense that can, hopefully keep pace with some of these teams that don't have as great a defense as an Ohio State or Iowa or something like that.
Well, Russ, you've made the point before that high-scoring football is exciting football. Ideally, you're scoring 45 points and your defense is holding the other team to 14, but Like when in a lot of those shootouts in the Brom era, at least they were fun, and you felt like you always had a chance,
right?
Especially with Rondale Moore. Boy, just what a tough road for him lately.
Gosh,
Yeah.
Poor Rondale Moore.
Speaking of high scoring,
did we find out what his injury was?
I think it was ACL. It was a knee injury. It was a season-ending knee injury. I know that for sure.
In returning a punt in preseason, too, just awful.
In Minnesota, of all places, too. Minnesota is just cursed when it comes to Purdue.
Yeah,
you could visibly see how frustrated he was too.
Yeah.
To have a season-ending injury last season, and then to have one. Oh, that's terrible. Russ, I feel like you were just starting to say something when I brought that up.
Oh, no, you're good. We're going to play some what ifs before the season starts. One thing I was thinking of randomly was, you go back to last year and what happened, what went down, some of those games. If we pull out Illinois and Northwestern in overtime and Helt and Thieneman, stick around, right? Max Clare sticks around. How would we feel going into this year at 4-8, back-to-back years, but with that talent coming back?
Well, we'd have a different head coach. So I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel. I really don't know. I'd be. Yeah. I mean, because I know a lot of the Purdue fan base said things to the degree of I don't want anyone to come back. They can all go. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with any of that, but I would feel very, very confused for sure, because there were some players who we saw just kind of have a drop off last season, and we could never make sense of it. Thieneman was one of them. I don't feel bad saying that because he said that multiple times. Kydron Jenkins, he had a position change as well, but he struggled last season. I mean, he was constantly outrun. He just wasn't applying that pressure from the edge, but. That's a really thought-provoking question. I'd probably be more confused because right now I just don't know what to expect. Then I really wouldn't know what to expect, I guess.
So would you rather be in this scenario or that scenario?
Probably this one, purely from a locker room standpoint, I think.
Yeah.
Like the fewer people you have back there from that last team is probably better, just from a humans interaction standpoint, I think.
Yeah, I think that if things were flipped and we had those guys coming back, I think it would just be comfortable. Like you would just know kind of what to expect, or you would have I think you would have a little bit more hope behind the season. But I don't know that that's necessarily that. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think I'd feel a little bit more comfortable. I feel it'd be like, okay, I can kind of know what to expect this year, but I think that'd be about it. I don't know if that'd be good or bad. So.
Yeah, I think it's one of those that it's just such an unknown, right? You just don't know what it would do, for lack of a better way to put it.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting. I'll definitely be keeping tabs on, especially some of those bigger names that left this year and went to other schools. Definitely going to be keeping tabs and seeing how they do throughout the season, because it's going to be interesting. Because is it going to be is transferring in football anything like it is in basketball, where Matt Painter is on record saying a lot of times that guys don't typically transfer out to better situations? So it's like, is that going to be the case for football? Are these guys going to, go to Oregon or Ohio State and just have these insane years, or are they going to barely see the field? What's that going to look like? So it's going to be something interesting to keep tabs on this year for sure.
We can look through some of our recent transfers. Did Deion Burks end up in a better situation?
No.
Close. I mean,
comparable.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about Nick Scorton?
I knew
you were going to bring it up.
I'll talk about it. He didn't leave.
Yeah. Who else am I forgetting? There's got to be someone else. Those are the two big ones that, now we'll have plenty of
Spencer Holstich.
Observations. Yeah.
Eric Miller.
Yeah,
he went to Louisville. Forgot about that.
And then Spencer Holstich went to UCLA. Yeah.
Or no, Eric Miller went to Maryland, right? Or was it Louisville?
It was Louisville, yeah.
Okay, why did I think?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. That one was tough. I feel like it's been long enough now that this sort of bridge or pipeline from Purdue to Louisville is probably gone now, especially because all the
God,
player
I
loss
hope
we've
so.
had.
Did you just see that he flipped a Purdue commit? It was like the highest rated commit we had for 26 flipped from Purdue to Louisville.
Oh, of course he did.
I don't remember who it was. It was like a top 400 player or something.
Well, you know what? While Braum was at Purdue, he was poaching players from the Louisville area. So
Yeah,
you know,
it's just the nature of the beast in today's recruiting.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it definitely is. I don't know if you all saw, but did you see that article written by someone from ESPN, basically saying that, or no, it was Sports Illustrated, basically saying that the reason that Walter struggled so much at Purdue is because he had no support and backing from the university.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went on to say, however, he was also a teammate of mine when talking about Ryan Walters. So it's like almost like, okay, you kind of discredit yourself.
Kind of cooked yourself on that one there, boss.
Yeah. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
I just really think that whole concept is interesting.
Yeah, it's very odd, right? Like,
Greg, it was a Joel Klatt comment.
oh yeah, Joel Klatt, that's who it was.
But yeah, it begs like because I remember Walters was on record saying that like how little money that he had when he started at Purdue for NIL and all, and it's like who knows how true all that is and how much money he had to raise and all that stuff. So it's hard to and like what is objectively the definition of support in that context too? Is that money? Is that all that it is? Because I'm sure Purdue probably didn't fork over enough money to build a winning program, but he also on paper gave Purdue some of its best recruiting classes. He had we're all on record multiple times saying that he brought in more 4-star recruits than Jeff Brom did in 6 years or 5 years.
Yep.
He brought that in 2 years. So there's just it's hard to.
How do you do that if we don't have the money?
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
I
got into that with basketball side of things with man, I'm completely spacing on his name now. UCLA head coach basketball, who went from like talking about how they don't have any money to then he has the best class the next year, and then goes back to not getting anybody and says we don't have any money again. And it's like, which is it? Like, how can you get high profile players to come play for you if you don't have money? Like, you got them to come there, but you don't have the money to get them to stay. Like, it took money to get them there.
That guy just complains. Like, he'll just find something to complain about. And my favorite quote of his is, I've seen the not the Eiffel Tower, the Statue of Liberty 3 times this year.
And they fact checked him. It's like, you haven't flown by it once, actually.
It's like, what did you think was going to happen when you joined the Big Ten? And like, I get it. The coaches
did you see the fact check where they like checked the flight logs and they're like, no, you wouldn't have seen it once on any flight.
No, someone has way too much time on their hands if they're doing that, though.
Yeah, it's come on, it's 2025. Internet's a wonderful place. Of course, someone had time.
Dude, I tell you what, Purdue fans, we had time on our hands. We'll tell you when we were looking for after Walters got fired. I mean, that's like the fun, stressful, and also like stupid part of hiring a new coach, because it's like so exciting to like be in the trying to figure out who it is, and people that you see people post like, oh, this flight going from here to West Lafayette or from there, blah blah blah, and God, there was so many. There was like 10 names thrown out there right before they announced it was Barry Odom, and
I first saw that when Hazel was fired. That's the first time I got Twitter was after Hazel got fired to track all the flights and all the rumors and everything.
Yeah,
I think every school does that, like the flight trackers. They use that to try to figure out anything. Yeah, there was. For me, I feel like the coaching search after Brom left was probably the most eventful, I would say.
Yeah, big shoes to fill, coming off of a Big Ten championship appearance, and
and then they announced Ryan Walters, and everyone went, "Who?" Like, his name wasn't being thrown around at all. At least not that I saw. Yeah. I don't believe he was being talked about anywhere. So,
but Travis had a good comment here. He was talking about Purdue men's basketball on Twitter. They've been posting a lot of videos of like the newcomers. There's one about Antoine West that came out last week or a couple days ago, and then they posted Oscar Clough today, and they've got Omar coming up next. And I haven't gotten to watch the Oscar Clough one, but I watched the Antoine West one, and that was cool. I think Frank I don't know if it was Frank or somebody said like, I wonder if, because he said something about how Purdue was like his top school, like that's where he wanted to really go. It's like I wonder if that's like,
Antoine West, it said that,
if that's really true of that.
I mean,
I love
like,
that
we'll
whenever
never know.
guys, I love that though when like guys are super talented and they're like, oh, I wanted to come to Purdue. Like I know like the Karlaftis brothers, they, the grandpa went to Purdue and all that stuff. So. I don't know. To me, that's just really cool. Like when somebody who's that talented is like, no, I wanted to be here.
I think there's a big disconnect, especially on the basketball side, between how prospective athletes view Purdue and how the national media and like the rest of the Big Ten view Purdue. Like I think it's a much more desirable destination for players, especially for Painter and the basketball team, than what the national media try to portray it as. Like, we don't have money. We're in the middle of a cornfield. Painter doesn't know how to use the portal. Yet we get talented guys, and talented guys talk about like Oscar Clough talking about, he did his research and knew he wanted to play for Purdue because we play with traditional bigs, with traditional fives, and because of Coach Brantley as well being a big part of that as well. Like, guys know ball and know the inside of athletics. You Purdue much higher than what the national media gives credit for.
Well, I feel like the national media is giving us plenty of credit right now. I don't know if you saw that some network had all their analysts pick who was going to win the national championship. I think 5 of the 7 of them had Purdue either in or winning the national championship.
But that's kind of rinse and repeat, Frank. Like, we talked about this before with some of our friends that we're associated with, and I won't call people out by name, but going into the season, they'll give us our flowers and they'll talk about Purdue being up there and all this great. And then as soon as we start losing games, they go, oh, it's because Painter didn't get an NBA guard this year. Oh, because Painter didn't use the portal. He didn't get no portal players this year. Okay, like, so at the beginning of the year, they'll try to make it like they try to cover their both bases, right? Like, try to say, oh, we gave you all this credit at the beginning of the year and then it didn't work out. We told you it's because this, and this. And I think that's the same thing they're trying to do this year.
But you can't. But I will say this: you can't say Painter didn't go to the portal. Painter did the absolute opposite of what he usually does.
Yeah, I mean, last year he didn't need to go to the portal.
Yeah, COVID dumped up last year's scholarships and made it difficult to where he couldn't go to the portal.
Yeah, I guess so we're talking about basketball now. I just wanted to ask that question before.
Yeah, I think we made that transition.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So one of the things that Oscar Clough said in his video was how tenacious of a rebounder. He said, like, as soon as the ball goes up, I'm almost maniacally want to get that, and that excites me. That makes me very excited.
Yeah,
because I correct me if I'm wrong, but have we had as good of a rebounder since Biggie?
I mean,
like, I feel like Biggie, like, going to Biggie's era, between Biggie and today, we haven't had a rebounder who is as good as Biggie.
Edie.
Yeah.
I mean, Edie was a good rebounder, don't get me wrong, but like,
I hope to God he was.
Yeah.
Swanigan looked like he wanted to fight somebody to get the ball.
Yeah, I think if you're talking about a tenacious rebounder at like the 4, then I would probably agree. But like, just general rebound, I feel like that's hard to do, because while Edie doesn't look like he's, going to fight off an army to go get it, he also didn't have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and who took a greater percentage of our shots, Biggie or Edie? So when Edie's taking as many shots as what he is, he's not in position to rebound, like opposite side, weak side from all these outside shots, like what Biggie would have been. Like, Biggie wasn't exactly a traditional just keep killing the dragon, feed the back to the basket big. So he was already under there getting the rebounds from the guards and from the perimeter. Right.
It's a good point, Russ. Yeah. I mean, if you're taking a lot of shots, you're not in rebounding position. Feel like Biggie took a lot of shots though. I mean, he was kind of the star of that team, but maybe not as many as what Edie was taking.
Trying to see how many. I'm trying to find out how many. Because one person I was going to say was Mason Gillis. I always liked to watch. I feel like he always attacked the rim pretty well.
He did.
Because I don't know about you, but I mean, I saw Lance Jones's eyeball. I know what it looks like when Mason Gillis is going for a rebound. When he clocked Lance Jones in a preseason, It was like before the season, like a practice or something. I remember seeing his eyeball all swollen and stuff. I was like, damn.
So defensive
DJ got pretty torn up
percentage.
by.
So we're
maybe
gonna
it was
compare.
yeah.
Sorry, we're gonna compare Caleb Swanigan to Zach Edey in their best season rebounding, and we're gonna do that by comparing their defensive rebounding percentage. So the percentage of opponent missed shots that they rebound, and we'll just start with defensive. Zach Edey, his junior year, had the highest number, 27%.
Frank, I have a quick question. Where are you pulling these stats from?
I'm pulling these from Basketball Reference, but I was
gonna sneak right into a CVB.
I could easily pull this from CVB.
Airball.
Yeah, I could easily get this from CVB Analytics with no problem. But I already had Basketball Reference pulled up, as I normally do. Often have CVB Analytics pulled up as well. But yeah, that just wasn't the case tonight. So and then offensive rebounding, Big E's best number was 10%. Edey's best number was 21%. So maybe Edey was a better offensive rebounder, where Swanigan was boxing out before the shot even went up. It felt like, and that kind of matches with the play style. But rebounding was a problem last season, and I think that we got a really good rebounder. I mean, if I recall from the research I've done on CVB Analytics, it was he was number one defensive rebounder in the country last season. So.
Yeah,
and we got Jacobson back.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's got quite the wingspan to try to pull in a rebound.
And he's still a big question mark for me. I mean, we really
added on a lot of weight in the offseason too, I think.
We really only saw one game from him, and it was against a mid-major, so we really don't know what he can do. Yeah. There's a question here in the comments. Do you think Liam Murphy gets in the games?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he averaged, what was it, 42% from three? 39, 42, something like that?
It was 42 or 44, yeah. It was low 40.
And I think he's going to come in with that second unit. Meyer at the point, maybe him at the 2, Jakari, Jacobson, and somebody at the 4 that I can't think of.
So he shot 42% from 3 last season, averaging 12.7 threes attempted per 40 minutes.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
That's in the highest percentile. 12.7 threes. That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. What does that translate to per game? So per game, 7.7. Again, highest percentile there.
What's that compared to Fletch?
Let's see. How many was Fletch? Again,
he's got, I would guess, what, 8?
8 threes attempted per game?
Per 40 minutes.
Per 40. I see. So that way we can compare apples to apples.
Well,
Fletcher.
45 minutes. I would say, look, can I guess?
Yeah.
Per 40 minutes last year, I think he's at 6. I'm going to go lower.
Damon?
Oh, shoot. I don't know. I'll go 5. I'll go even lower than Russ.
Well, Russ hit the nail on the head, 6.1.
Nice.
Yeah. So, 2 more threes attempted per 40 minutes. Or I said double the amount per 40 minutes. I was looking at per game still. So let's see. Offense.
Well, Frank is looking that up. One of the things that I've loved about just watching some of these interviews with these newer players, Oscar Clough, just the couple of interviews that I've seen have been kind of funny from him. I don't know if it's just his Australian accent or what it is, but
wow.
One of the I don't think that's wrong to say that at all. I think
you can't say his accent's funny.
Cooked.
Oh.
Absolutely cooked.
Well, it was good to know you guys.
I was just canceled.
But he was talking about one of the reporters just called him out. They're like, "So I heard you're struggling to keep up with his conditioning or whatever." And he's just like, "Oh yeah, back home I didn't really do a whole lot." Basically, in one way or another, said yeah, I just didn't really play a whole lot of basketball when I was at home and in Australia in the off season. And then what did he say? It was I think it was in that clip, that new video they just posted. He was just like, yeah, Purdue's a lot more something he's just had to learn a lot because Purdue's just a lot more structured.
Yeah, I mean,
all that stuff other than South.
I think having hundreds of plays in the playbook, it's probably quite a bit to learn too. And most schools have 30.
What the last I heard, it was 340 plays in the playbook or something like that.
I think he's backed it down a little bit because in one of his interviews he made a comment about that and said at some point when you try to run so many plays to confuse your opponents, you start confusing yourselves.
Which makes sense.
I think
Played
the year
yourself.
with Jaden Ivey, and I mean like Jaden Ivey, like one of his best highlights for Purdue is on a broken play where he messed up hitting that 3 against Ohio State. Where like he was supposed to come off the screen and like did a weird cut, and then it was just like, give me the ball, I'll just shoot it. But I think that was probably the season for Painter to kind of be like, maybe we should just bring it back to 100 plays instead of 300. But I did confirm, agree with our great partner, CBB Analytics. Oscar Clough did lead the country in defensive rebounding percentage at 32.2%. So
Nice.
we're bringing in an elite rebounder. Got a question here, wondering what we think Omer will say.
Oh, like in his interviews, yeah.
I think I'm telling you, I think Carson and or Trey are going to be.
That's what I want to hear about.
Mentioned.
Yeah.
At least Trey.
Yeah,
because he was teammates with Travion Williams in Europe.
Yep.
And so I'll be really curious to see, does this guy start? Rayfield Davis, we haven't talked about him yet. We'll talk about him next. Said today that he is expected to come off the bench. I know his opinion matters. Like he's still been really good with Coach Painter. And that makes sense.
Jeff Goodman. Rayfield's opinion.
Yeah, let's talk about that. For anyone who doesn't know, there's all sorts of feuding going on Twitter today between Rayfield Davis and Jeff Goodman, and
love it.
I think it all started with Rayfield making the claim that Purdue was going to score 95 points per game, and Jeff Goodman saying that's absurd. Like Purdue's going to be good, but they're not going to score 95 points per game, and they were just going back and forth basically on that subject. And Rayfield's point was, how can you say like Purdue is going to have one of the best offenses in the country and have all these weapons, but then saying them scoring a lot of points is absurd. And what do you guys think? Do you think us scoring 95 points a game is realistic?
I will say this. I think that because our second lineup could start on about 2/3 of the Big Ten schools. And I think that you will see a historic production in the history of college basketball at the pace and the points and just all the offensive metrics. Yeah, I think you will see. I'm 100% confident that.
I mean, just 95 points a game, though. That's like for you to average that. That means like that's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
So I think it's rich that we've talked about a lot, especially in our group chat, about the engagement farming that Field of 68 does, right? The clickbaiting that they do. And it's rich that he wants to go after Rayfield. For Rayfield, I don't think he was saying, and I think it actually 97 points. And I don't think he was saying we're gonna definitely average 97 points. He's predicting that. I think he was basically saying we're gonna score 90 plus a game next year because teams like Bama have done it the last 2 years. So it's not crazy to say we're gonna score 90. Yeah, 95, 97 plus. Yeah, that would be historic. But he's basically just Rayfield is a genuine dude. He puts his thoughts right out there. Like it's almost like he kind of reacts on Twitter. But he's a similar basketball mind as Painter, which fits because he went to Purdue, so that makes sense. But he just kind of puts stuff out there, not to clickbait the way that Goodman and Field of 68 would. So it's rich that they want to attack him for that when he's just like, dude, I'm just kind of throwing out there some of the totals you could see next year. Like he didn't even say that we're going to score 97 points a game, 97 a game. He was just putting out there, this is what I think these guys could average. And Goodman was the one that went through and added them up and go, oh, you think we're going to score that many points? Like, he's doing too much.
Which we all know that's not how basketball math works. Like,
right.
Yeah. But
I mean,
your take, Russ, is exactly where mine is, and that he wasn't saying Purdue was going to score 95 points a game. He was saying this is realistically each guy's potential.
Hold on.
There's
a tweet. I'm looking at a tweet right now from Rayfield Davis. It says, I just read that last week that it is national championship or bust for Purdue this season, but averaging 95 points per game is where y'all draw the line.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he went at him, yeah.
So I feel like so he did say that.
No, Field of 68 said that it was national championship or bust. He was responding because that was after Goodman responded.
I thought you guys were saying that he said he didn't. I thought you guys were saying he didn't say averaging 95 points.
He didn't say that was the total. That was after Goodman responded saying, if you add those guys totals up that you put there, it equals 95 points a game. So you're saying they're going to score 95 a game? And Raphael was just basically not arguing that we're going to score 95 a game. He's like, well, wait a second. Like, you think it's crazy we'd score 95 a game, but you said it's national championship or bust. So I think that's kind of where that came from.
Gotcha.
Greg's comment here hit the nail on the head. As far as points per game go, the only governor on that will be Painter, as we've seen in previous seasons. Agreed. Mm-hmm. I agree with that. And my thing about it, actually, go ahead, Russ.
I was gonna say, but is it this year? Like, if guys like a Benter or a Murphy or somebody that has to get minutes at the closing bell, like, are we gonna have the walk-ons like it's before? Are we gonna have that unit 2.5, unit 3 that could also be starters on some Big Ten teams? Are going to be the cleanup crew? So we're not going to maybe have that crew late in the game that can't hit a shot over 3 minutes. Like, we're going to have guys that come in and have shot 45% from 3 at other schools.
My take on it is you only have 40 minutes. If you're trying to score that many points, you got to play quick. And, historically, Purdue is not a slow team, but they're not a fast team either. They're opportunistic. So I just think we would have to have a run and gun style offense like Alabama does, like Arizona does, to do that. I just don't know if we would actually, see that. So comment here. I hope we bury Kentucky. Did you guys see how much tickets are for that game?
Stupid.
Start at $400.
Jeez.
Yeah. I guarantee Kentucky's going to win. Their fans are going to freak out, proclaim themselves national champions. Purdue won't take the game seriously. Not that
we get to mollywop them in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean it's how the last two exhibition games have gone. Like the opposing fan base. I mean, Arkansas was the worst. Don't get me wrong.
Arkansas was hilarious. Oh, we don't care. It's a charity game. And then you thought that friggin' they won a national title after we won.
They played 8 guys. Like,
yeah. Arkansas
Zach Edey played 21 minutes in that game. Yeah.
And what was it? Wasn't there a year where was it the Creighton game where Edey would have fouled out like 3 guys on the other team, but they just kept letting him play with like 7, 8 fouls?
Well, that's how all the scrimmages go. And that's like if you remember when like the secret scrimmages were actually secret and you didn't get like highlights of them like you get now. But like you would like information would leak. It'd be like, well, this guy scored 30 points in the secret scrimmage. But yeah, Painter did go on record saying that like it's like, oh yeah, like we got stomped by this team, but their starting center had 8 fouls. Like, but we wanted to keep them in the game because we wanted to keep playing against them. Like, so these secret scrimmages aren't games in the sense that like, it's not 40 minutes with actual rules. It's simulated scenarios.
That's why I kind of like these scrimmages. Like we played against Arkansas or stuff like that, where it's like an actual game.
Yeah. And Arkansas treated it like an actual game.
Frank, you and I are closer to it than the other two here. I've already heard Kentucky fans that I work with and I see on a regular basis talk about how, oh no, Painter's taking this serious. Like he scheduled this because he wants to come to Rupp and get a win and make a point this year. He's going to throw everything he got at Pope and Kentucky. Like, okay, buddy, all right. That's what they're telling themselves now, so when they beat us, they can go ahead and raise a banner.
Well, watch the interviews from the Creighton game last season. Every single player is like, we didn't scout Creighton at all. We did no scouting. I mean, and that game got a little wild. It was a very high scoring game, but yeah, like I think it's mostly to experiment with different lineups and to do it in front of a crowd. Yeah. So here we go.
Well, because think about
Greg was at the Creighton.
You guys have heard Painter. You guys have heard Painter talk about before scouting during the season. Is you basically scout like 3 teams, right? Or there's like 3 teams you got to kind of prepare for. One is you scout what they've done on tape. 2 is you scout what you think they're going to do after looking at our tape. And then 3 is like what actually ends up happening. So when you try to devote resources to that for an exhibition, that's kind of defeating the purpose, right? The exhibition is the point of working on your stuff, not worrying all about the opponent, right? So that's why we don't scout these exhibitions. And that's why some of them go a way that surprises Purdue fans and makes other teams think, oh, we're a better team than Purdue this year. Like, no, it's not how that works.
Well, that's what Painter said when we had Edey, that sometimes scouting was a little deceiving because you had no idea how they were going to defend Edey.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, okay, they never double the post. Well, now they're playing against Zach Edey. Oh, look, now they're doubling the post. Like, again, Arizona is my favorite example of that, where he said, we don't need to double. We have really good bigs. And then very first play, they doubled them. And just
all right, boys. On that note, I have to take off. I'll see you guys next week.
You're taking off
all right,
what?
sounds good.
Leaving, you clown.
Bill's not here.
Before we wrap up, though, I do want to. So Purdue football just posted a clip of Coach Odom talking to I'm assuming it's like the freshman class that are coming into Purdue and everything, and he's getting them all fired up, and I love it, man. He's trying to get everybody all fired up, and he sounds like when he's like kind of like yelling and talking, he almost sounds a little bit like Stone Cold, almost like that deep like raw, like kind of. Yeah, exactly. I love it, man. I don't know, dude. I was thinking about the clip of the pre-game speech with Braum when we played Michigan and he like threw the chair or something. Yeah.
Again. Yeah.
That was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Here while this is still up on my screen, going to show you all what ChatGPT said the embodiment of Purdue football looks like.
Oh God, here we go. Is it Joe Tiller?
No, it's a completely fictional person.
Can you zoom in the picture a little bit? It's kind of hard to see, or I'm just blind.
Oh no! It first gave me a player, and I said no, don't give me a player. No, I can't zoom in, unfortunately.
Yeah, this guy doesn't have a mustache. That's not real.
There we go. To me, it kind of looks like George W. Bush. That's what I thought. But anyway, this is apparently
he's gotten really good now. You can actually it's actually spelling Purdue out. It's using logos and everything.
Yeah, so this is what ChatGPT says the embodiment of Purdue football in a human being form looks like. So I'll check out that clip.
To me,
what'd you say, Russ?
Little Bruce Willis-y to me.
Yeah, little Bruce Willis. It's definitely, for those who are listening and unable to see, it's a stern-looking guy in his 60s who looks like he doesn't put up with any nonsense.
I think that guy sat a couple rows behind me at the Indiana State game last year.
Is that the only game you went to, Russ?
No, unfortunately, I went to a few. I went to Nebraska, which was rough. I went to Northwestern, which was really rough. I think that was the three. I think it was Northwestern, Nebraska, and Indiana State. I think it was the only three.
At least you weren't at Notre Dame. I was there for that one.
Yeah.
So Greg says Odom addressed the band camp earlier today, really challenged them to lead the noise, and I guess Damon's gone, to lead the noise and create a ruckus. So that's good to know. Yeah. So he's really stepping in. He's really doing some really cool things. So Russ, I don't know if you were on for this, and if you were, you can just ignore my question. But so far, based off of what we've seen, how would you rate Odom so far with very little information?
What are you talking about, like an A to F scale or 1 to 10?
A to F, however you want to present it.
I mean, we'll do the letter grade scale. I would put him at a B. I mean,
okay.
I don't hate what he's done. I mean, yeah, he hasn't brought in the 4-star guys like we were talking about Walters doing when he came in the door. He didn't bring in a big transfer from Texas quarterback that was, going to be a top 5 quarterback in the Big Ten. Is for like, we haven't seen a product on the field. So to me, like, grading him now is like when all the experts graded NFL draft, 2 minutes after the draft happened, and you're like, really? Like, if you're going to grade it, you grade it 5 or 10 years later. So, ask me 6 weeks in.
Okay. Yeah.
I think Frank, you said what, 3 weeks? Like after week 3?
Yeah, I'm really not. I'm not going to drink any Kool-Aid, any direction after weeks. Well, okay.
Oh, I'm drinking all the Kool-Aid. 100%.
Let me rephrase that. If we start out 0-2, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid of freaking out for sure.
Fire Odom already on Twitter.
No, I'm not going that far, but I'm going to be terrified if we start 0-2. I don't think it's likely.
We're fire Frank if we start 0-2 for being right about starting 0-2.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a good fix there.
I'll be diving headfirst into the pool of fear and shame if we start 0-2.
I am excited about
Southern Illinois. No drinking.
The Surrender Cobra will be in full effect.
Yeah. But
what's got you excited about Southern Illinois, Russ?
Because it's a night game. So I think it's It'll be night game 2 weeks in. It should be a decent crowd, as long as we take care of business week 1. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Whatever. But
Greg says where Odom exceeds Braum. I'm assuming means Braum and Walters is the ability to engage the fans and the public. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Walters did it in a kind of a different way than what we're used to. But yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Do you think that looking back now, when Walters had been on campus for at least a few weeks and hadn't had a XXX burger with peanut butter, should that have been the first telltale sign that this wasn't going to work out?
He didn't have one after a whole year.
Oh, yeah. No,
that's inexcusable.
He got asked his first media days what he thought of a XXX burger, and he's like, I haven't had one. I'll get back to you next year. And the next year, the same guy at media days asked that same question. He goes, man, I still haven't had one.
Yeah, see, we should have known that. We should have known that a long time ago. This wasn't going to work out.
Coach Odom had one, though.
He wanted Purdue to support. He says Purdue didn't support him. Well, he didn't support Purdue. Okay.
Right. Exactly.
No, do we know if Coach Odom's had a Dwayne Purvis yet?
Oh, was that Shutt that asked the question? Nice.
I didn't know that.
No, I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah. I guess
that's the real question. Someone's got to anyone. I'm sure
he brought in a lineman named Purvis. So I mean, that's
true. Yeah, something. Hank Purvis. Yeah, he looks awesome. He looks like a guy I would be friends with. Hank Purvis looks awesome. Yeah.
What a name too.
Excited to see him play.
Yeah. Well,
we're coming up on an hour here.
I feel like we ought to just wrap up here. Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. A lot of great comments. Greg, always appreciate you being in here, and everybody else that Travis as well. You guys had a lot of good things to say. Appreciate you guys coming in here. Next week is I mean, we're in full, the college football season will be fully underway by then. So it'll be exciting to, talk about probably some games that we've all watched from week 0. I think there's some good ones, like I think Iowa State and Kansas State over in Ireland happening this weekend. So that'll be really cool. But excited to see how Purdue football turns out. We've still got a little bit of ways to get there, but I think it's going to be a good time. All we can do, I mean, we don't work for Purdue University. We're not in the athletic department. So all we can do is just enjoy the ride, right? We got to buckle in and we're here anyway. We might as well try to make the best of it. So, but before we wrap up here, of course, just want to shout out all of our sponsors. Martin Vintage, you can use code BXP at checkout and get 10% off your next order. They've got a lot of great Purdue gear there. You can go to CBB Analytics and find out all the great stuff that Frank was saying tonight. That's all going to be on CBB Analytics and more. Whether you're a Purdue fan, whether you, no matter what basketball team it is, you can find out all that really good, insightful information on there. And Cincy Blitz boards as well. It's a great game for you to play with your family, for you to play with your friends, for you to tailgate with. It's a great thing to use. So make sure you go get one. They're extremely customizable. So no matter what you want, it'd be a great Christmas present, great or birthday present, whatever it is. It's all great. So appreciate everybody tuning in tonight, and we will see you guys next week. Boiler up.
Boiler up.